Howdy folks, Jody Marler with FishCamp Custom, and today we are distressing painted over walnut cabinets. People always say, are you crazy painting over walnut? Well, so this is a walnut door sample we did for a previous project. And what I love about this is you still get the walnut color through there. You get the grain when you glaze over, and it just adds a lot to these doors. So this we ended up using in a laundry, but this is what we're trying to achieve with these red cabinets on this current project. You'll never make it look, 100 years old, 80 years old. So we're just trying to distress a little bit and highlight some things here. And we've got these walnut pegs. It's kind of historic, traditional joinery of what was done a long time ago. Now it's just decorative. What you want to do is just kind of hit those corners, kind of wash them out a little bit. Hit a peg or two. You're not trying to take all the paint off, because what ends up happening is once we glaze over this, it's going to highlight those colors in there. And don't worry about this. You look at that like, wow, you just destroyed the finish. And in the end, once that glaze and lacquer go on, it looks phenomenal. And you don't want to do anything even. You don't, just because you kind of broke the paint there, you don't want to do the same thing right here. It's got to be inconsistent, really. I like these knots because it's a totally different color in there. So I like to sand that out just a little bit. Anytime you're going to do something like this, you tend to kind of overthink it or look at this little space. Once all of these doors go up, it's going to blend together, and you'll never look at any one spot. Ooh, what happened there? It's all going to blend together. The thing about these, all these little grooves, once we go over this with a glaze, the glaze fills these areas up, adds some color to it, and ultimately you have something like this, and it just adds highlights to the cabinets. For years, I looked to take different classes on this type of finishing, and I just couldn't find anything anywhere throughout the country. So I just started experimenting. We've got hundreds of different samples, different colors, different stains that we've used over the years. It's actually a lot of fun to do once you kind of get an idea of what you want to do and what that final color is going to be. This island in particular, the client said, we want a green cabinet door. So we made probably 5 different little swatches of a green, different colors of different shades of green. And then as we were into it, I just said, you know what, let's make some blue, let's make some red, let's make some black. So immediately we jumped on the green, and they picked a color out of that. But then I said, all right, let's take a look at these. And she fell in love with the red. And we had, I think, 3 or 4 different colors of red. So it's pretty cool how these projects evolve. You think you want to do one thing, and then all of a sudden, out of left field, now we're doing red. This is latex in a satin finish. And what ends up happening is, if this was a flat paint, when you go to put the glaze on, it hangs so heavy in a flat paint, and it doesn't give the finish that we want. So we use a satin paint, And as you see, when I'm sanding this paint through, you get that kind of rolling and balling of that paint. So that's the only downside of it. It is what it is, it's no big deal. We've got plenty of sandpaper, so. All right, glazing time. So I always like to start with the center panels and then go out. So I use a brush for this because you want to get into these cracks here. You know, into those creases. And first and foremost, you don't want to overthink this. So there's no wrong way of doing this. It's all about preference. I will say the bigger the door or the bigger the project, the tougher it is. So what we're doing here is just working it into all these little gouges and nail holes and knots, and any of that exposed walnut is going to turn the color of the stain and highlight the walnut in it. You're not trying to paint the door, you're just trying to add color to it. I always start with a wet rag. People do it differently, but I always like a rag that has stain on it, so you can kind of work it in a bit. You always want to go with the grain. You have to go with the grain. Get a drier rag, and now you're trying to kind of clean it up. So what we're doing here, anytime you're glazing something, you're kind of, ultimately you're manipulating the color, but what we like about it is, you know, any of this stuff that hangs down here, it looks like, it gives it age. You know, like dirt that's been kind of built up over time. So again, we're just going kind of long strokes with this, with the grain, and then ultimately we'll get a newer rag and get it to where we want it. Okay, so here we are after install, and I love the way everything turned out. But again, to take you through the process, so we built the cabinets, we built the natural walnut cabinets and the painted walnut cabinets. As you see in the upper cabinets, we wanted to continue that red color, so we painted the insides red. So we have those backlit, and I just love how all of this finished. Again, with the Ashley Norton hardware, everything just blends together, fits together extremely well. It's one of my favorite kitchens. It has great flow to it. Love the stone choice on the countertops, and I love this. I love what we do, and I love when all of this comes together like this. So hope you guys enjoyed the process, and if you have any questions, always let us know. We'd love to hear from you, and of course, please subscribe. Thanks again.